Hello guys, it's boys Yan Mega X. Oh yeah, so this is gonna be what if Deku had every single quirk. And if you think, and so the way this is gonna go. Okay, so basically what's gonna happen is that I just wanna now All for One is not gonna have any relation to Deku. Okay, no relation to him. He's not Inko's father. From one of them, like when people say that he was trying to create the perfect vessel or something, someone to inherit his quirk and get a stronger version of his quirk and then take it from them. No, he's not going to be Deku's dad. No, he's not going to be none of that. Deku just inherently has every single quirk. Like, he just has every single quirk. Okay, so the way I can see this going is that Deku's quirk hasn't come in. And then this is around the time when he's standing up to Bakugo and his bullies. And then let's see. Bakugo, yes. He accidentally activates Air Wall by accident, blocking Bakugo's explosions. And then Air Wall dissipates, and then Bakugo starts running up to him with an explosion. And Deku, not knowing what to do, he starts running up to Bakugo, only to start accidentally walking on air. And then he tries to hit Bakugo, push him back, but then he accidentally activates air cannon and a bit of acid, which pushes Bakugo back and burns him a little bit. I'd say it was mildly like a sting from a cut that you would get. Yeah, that's how Bakugo was feeling. Anyways, they will go to the quirk doctor because he's showing signs of 1, 2, 3, 4 quirks now. And then you look at Deku's quirk factor, or I think that's good. And then they discovered that it's so largely big, and there's so many tiny dots inside of it. And then they figured, and then upon further investigation, it's revealed that Deku has a load of quirks. Okay, and it doesn't seem like any of them were forcefully put into him, forcefully given to him. He just inherently has all of these quirks. And then, say a month or two after that, Deku unlocks more quirks. Oh wait, for example, oh no, that's too advanced. He could accidentally use amplivolts. Could accidentally use that, or use arbor, or attraction of small objects. Yeah, and he starts showing signs of more and more quirks. For example, even clapping really fast might accidentally activate acid sweat. And if you don't know, acid sweat is what Bakugo's dad Masaru has. It can be used, but it's not very useful because you have to rub your hands to actually get explosions. Yeah. So yeah, and then they get to the quirk club, and then upon going through all of the databases, okay, it's revealed that because they haven't gone through anything, but they're theorizing that Deku just throughout the entire database of quirks that they have, Deku has all of these quirks. Okay, now obviously, so basically, past users of One for All, he has their quirks, but I'm gonna say that he doesn't have One for All. And also, if you're wondering about quirks copy quirks and all for one and stuff like that. Basically, copy quirks allows him to, it will basically change its effect. So he copies that quirk and then stacks it on top of that quirk, on top of a quirk that on top of the same quirk, resulting in a more powerful quirk, where he stacks it on top of a different quirk to get a different outcome. And all for one, like, he just has the quirk and it permanently stacks until he removes it. And also, for when deku inherently has every quirk, so if he comes across a quirk he hasn't seen before, he will try to activate it and will be successful. Or maybe it will take a few tries, but he has that quirk. So for example, if he saw Kirishima hardening his body, he would just try to do that feeling, and then boom, he would harden his body. The only reason that I think like it'll take more effort for some quirks, for example, like alchemy, it says that alchemy allows the user to transmute the matter of any non-living object they touch. The user can create nearly anything they desire, from a simple bullet to more complex objects, such as fully operational drones that can record live videos. The transmuted object does not have to take a physical form and can have its state of matter be morphed into water or a glowing kinetic energy form. See, like, if you're reading all of this, you can see why, like, alchemy and creation, like, they would be quirks that he wouldn't be like, that would take time to use because they take knowledge, okay? But these type of quirks, but it's helpful because then he can use an IQ quirk, okay? And basically, since IQ quirks are basically the same and maybe have like specific requirements, if they could just stack all of them together, because I'm actually going to say that for quirks that are relatively like the same, for example, amp, revolt, and then maybe say another electric quirk, or attraction of small objects, but then you also have a different telekinesis quirk, you could just stack that on top of it together. Okay, so if we have like a similar quirk, like they're similar, for example, you have Hell Flame and Darby's Blue Flames, he could just stack that on top of that. See, anyways, back into the story. I'm just explaining how a bit of this was going to get. So then we cut to last day of junior high. And then the teacher does this thing, I know you all want to become heroes and all that. And then also Bakugo does his usual thing. But I'm gonna say that Bakugo and Deku, they have like a friendly rivalry. No. You know what? No friendly rivalry. Instead what's gonna happen? So let's skip to maybe about when they're 10. Okay, so 3 years prior. Now, it's been 6 years since the discovery of Zuko's quirk, and Deku told everyone. And then he shows off a bunch of his quirks. I will be amazed, but then Bakugo would start spreading rumors like, for example, he can take your quirks to stack on top of his, and then you will never have your quirks again, and he'll just use you to get stronger. Or he'll pretend to be friends with you just to see your quirk, and then boom, he'll leave you like that once you find out about it. And then these rumors would be like become to lies, and Deku, still being the nice guy he is, tries to salvage their friendship. Does not work. And then eventually when they're 10, they end up getting into sort of a fight. Okay. So basically, I don't know, let's just say something happened. Okay. They were in an argument. Bakugo was talking trash again. Deku wasn't liking that. Not one bit. He wasn't having that. And then, so Deku decides to try and beat Bakugo as in because they start doing that. So then Deku starts using explosion, and Bakugo gets like really pissed. So then he starts full power swings of explosions. Same thing with Deku. And this is like on school grounds, and like I don't know if like you guys have seen like when there's a scrap on like school grounds, like when there's a fight, and then everyone start gathering around and recording. That's basically what's happening. Like they're fighting, and then Deku's walking on air. He's shooting air cannons, blocking arrows, and Bakugo could it would take like a few punches and like say like 4 punches. Let's say 10 punches is for right now at the current age, 10 years old, is what you would need to destroy an arrow. Other than that, it's relatively unbreakable. Okay, like yeah. So Bakugo would be having a hard time because like that could be constantly setting up air walls around him, trying to restrict his movement. Therefore, he'd have to constantly like punch or use explosions to break them. And Deku's like he's barely scraping back because Bakugo is stronger. Deku has so many quirks, you know what I'm saying? So then it's kind of hard. It's like he's more. And his analytical mind is still like developing. Okay, so he can still use them. So he starts using acid to slide around. Okay, like obviously he would like kick off his shoes and start sliding around, and then use explosions. Goodness. Sorry guys, but I tried to use like I've tried to find like a better like list, but this was the best I could get. Okay, and then let's see what he could use. This is getting like way harder for no reason. He could start using cell activation to heal himself, put himself in like the best physical condition. Then he could use crystallize and start blocking some of the attacks. And then they start going in for the final attack. So then Deku starts spinning with his acid, and then he starts charging up. You should see it here. Explosion. Charging up an explosion. And then okay, and also before I just realized I haven't talked about mutant quirks. Okay, because mutant quirks, like I'll just say that his body, it will like adapt to the mutant quirk. Okay? Long tongue. Strong legs. He already has strong legs. Long tongue. He can make it as long and as short as he wants. Engines. Retractable. He just kind of has holes in his calves now. That should be a bit weird, but it'd be fine. And then so basically he starts blazing around with engine and explosions. And then launches a full power explosion. And then Bakugo launches a full power explosion, and then boom. Okay, and then this is when the parents would be called up to the office. And then Mitsuki and Bakugo arguing, and then Mitsuki telling Bakugo to apologize right now. Bakugo refuse, and then this is when they learn of like the rumors spread by Bakugo, and then like obviously that wouldn't be like and then so then he starts going to And then like okay, yeah. And then we correct the next scene the next day. And the next day back on his mom, they're already packing their bags because like they're leaving, okay? And like Anka being like worrying, doesn't want Deku to go back to that school. Yeah, and then they move. I don't know where they would move exactly. Because most of the stuff is. But there have to be other schools in the area. So I said they moved to like maybe near the outskirts of the city. And then near the outskirts of the city, and then Deku would go to another school. No, I think. I think that he should go to Mina and Kirishima school. Yeah, I think he should go there. And then once he goes there, he obviously meets them, you know, and then he tells the class his quirk or his quirks. Yeah, and then and then they start yeah, they hit it off. And then Mina and Kirishima are asking, or like the class asking, if he has their quirks. Then he would say, yeah, he has every single quirk. Show it to him, and he'll know how to use it. Yeah, and yeah, they start showing him his quirks. Now, obviously, I don't know the quirks of them. I mean, there's that one guy who can make money or something, and then they would show off the hardening and acid. And the acid is one Deku would catch on to, because he would say that's actually one of the first quirks he's. Actually, wait, let me try something out. Let me do something about coke. Okay, so. Working. And then, you know, and then obviously they hit it off, and then for the next few years, yes, they're all training. Okay, so they're all using their quirks to the fullest. Oh, I didn't even realize that there weren't that many Z quirks. Like the only Z quirks we have is Zero Gravity, Zombie Virus, and Zoom. Alright, okay, yeah, and then obviously we go to the we skip to the day of the not the day of the sludge incident, because we would also wait. Let me tell you what Baku has been doing, actually, because I want to relate you guys what Baku has been doing. Bakugo, as much as he hate to admit it, he realized that Deku probably won that fight, if not they ended in a tie. And Bakugo doesn't like losing nor tying, he likes to win. Okay? So as much as he hates to admit it, he has to kind of beat Deku at his own game. So then he starts training, just like Deku and his friends are doing. He starts training, and obviously he doesn't just do physical training. Like, this is going for the both of them. He doesn't just do physical training, he does he does quirk training, studies, you know. And you know what he does? They both analyze quirks. Okay, they both start looking extensively at quirks. Now, obviously, so Deku is gonna have a bit of an advantage here, because you see, he actually has access to the quirk database. Okay, while Bakugo doesn't. So he has to just go off from online, okay, and look at the different quirks of the top 10 like heroes around the world. Like, he even has to go to some other countries. Like, the only other country I remember seeing would be America. So like, yeah. And like the only other quirk that I remember seeing there from America was New Order, New Order. I mean, there was Wolfram's Quirk, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, so obviously, like, he'd be doing extensive research, trying to find ways to counter attack certain quirks. And then obviously, I forgot to mention also like sentient quirks. Wait, which is, I'm gonna I'm not seeing much. Like, so the only sentient quirks I remember seeing is Dark Shadow, Brody's quirk, and then apparently there's Nine's weather manipulation, which I'm gonna go here and then let's see what this is, because I want to do something. Okay, so it doesn't really seem that. Yeah, so not really. So it's only that we've only seen like 2 sentient quirks, and like those are the only sentient quirks that we have. Okay, yeah, and then obviously, yeah. So back to the training. So he does extensive research, and then he realizes that it's not just some quirks. He starts looking at the top 10. Those are like overpowered quirks. And specifically, he starts looking at All Might. Okay, he analyzes the way All Might moves, like everything about All Might. Okay, because they both admire All Might. Okay, so they start both looking at All Might, everything he does. And Deku tries to copy All Might, try and find the All Might's quirk within what he has, but it doesn't seem like he can find it. Also, I want to check if if there's any actual super strength quirk. I was like, I don't think there's a super strength quirk other than like. Let me just check. No, I'm not seeing a super strength quirk. Like, the only super strength quirk that would be there, that works super strength, is probably maybe Strong Arm or Sugar Rush. Or like Dupliums. So, yeah. Okay, so back to the thing that they're doing, the training. Yeah, so they both do like extensive research on all my top 10 rest of the heroes as well. Like, Deku has also got to admit, and Bakugo as well, they do look at villains. Pardon me. I mean, you kind of do have to look at villains. Because, first of all, Deku does have the quirk of the villain, the greatest villain of Japan. Also, the quirks of all the League of Villains. So Bakugo is gonna have a lot. Watch out for that. Okay, so the only quirks you would really know, actually, would be can't really remember, because I can't really remember when Toga became a villain. But I'll just say that there's obviously Darby, and he would have to watch out for quirks like this. So like any sort of villain, really. Like, he certainly keep one eye on quirks like this for example, there is interesting, I don't see. Let me do some another research. Toxic. Oh. Okay, so the reason that we don't have Toxic Chainsaw's quirk is because Roki's has an unnamed quirk. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Okay, so like villains like Toxic Chainsaw and All for One are like out of the question because like obviously you wouldn't see too much of that, but like Bakugo would be taken extensive research. Like he would even go so far to actually acknowledge some of his classmates' quirks. For example, Wings, the Wings guy, he certainly takes that into account considering that Hawks is in the top 10. Long Fingers takes that into account. Like he takes into account quirks that he deemed to be weak, but then could actually be turned into a surprise attack. For example, imagine you're fighting someone and then you randomly just pull their eyeballs out of their sockets. That would disorientate you. Like, unless you're like a skilled, trained warrior who's seen tricks like these before, or like is just not reactive to these type of things, you would react. Okay. So Bakugo would take into account that Deku might do that. Okay, and extensive quirk training. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I should give Bakugo a power. Because I'm gonna give him a power. Because he should be left in the dark. The dirt, right? Because I doubt explosions would be enough. So I've actually been thinking of this idea for a long time for Bakugo, and that is he can control the nitroglycerin on his hands. For example, he can send them out as droplets and then have them explode. Okay, like he could just do this. Okay, and it could be the tiniest droplets of sweat that stick onto you. Hoping for this. And also, it's like kind of like it's risky. Okay, it's a risky move, which is why Bakugo has used because quirks, they've evolved in. I'm just gonna say that no one knew that the human eye could get perception of that of an enhanced perception quirk. Okay, let me see if there's even a perception quirk actually. Never mind, it doesn't seem there's a perception quirk, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so Bakugo's perception would be on point. Okay? So if he throws sweat at you, he'll be able to determine where it landed, if it landed on you, or if it landed near you. Then he could flip, like, click his fingers, and then boom, the entire place lights up. Or you have an explosion suddenly on you and you're bouncing off onto the floor. And you remember how I said that he could create his control his nitroglycerin. Okay, he can control nitroglycerin. So if anything has nitroglycerin in it, okay, he'll be able to control that. And let me also that contain nitroglycerin. And that would be useful for a lot of things. Like, okay, that would move. But for example, say there was like a hostage situation or something like that, or someone had to stick a dynamite. Okay, Bakugo can control that nitroglycerin. Okay, so if someone threw a dynamite snake, expecting it to blow up, Bakugo could just like I don't know how the chemical reaction works, but I'm just gonna say that instead of it reacting with whatever, Bakugo simply removes the nitroglycerin, and the nitroglycerin could be a key factor, or he freezes the nitroglycerin in place, and that stops the dynamite stick from going off. You see, I'm doing this. He can also create the nitroglycerin sweat that he sweats. He can form that into like constructs, so a bow staff, bow and arrow, sword, thick walls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, anyways. And Deku, he's not straying too far behind. Okay. He's like basically an acid master. Also with acid sweat. Okay, and if you go to over here, hardening and Tatsu's quirk steel, he's a master of that too. Okay, now that's my yapping out of the way. Hopefully, yes. And you've been seeing what's been going on with their training. Oh, sorry, another thing I forgot to do. Because I haven't watched season 6 yet. Okay, I haven't watched season 6 or season 7. Or I actually finished the rest of season 5 for that matter. But I have seen enough scenes to know that Bakugo gets a quirk awakening where he can explode the nitroglycerin on any part of his skin. Okay? Sweating on his legs, explode. Okay, he also gets a quirk awakening and that. Just wanted to point out. Anyways, so yes, so we skipped out. We're not gonna do the sludge villain incident because there's frankly no reason to, because Deku doesn't go to that area. He would hear of it and then scoff, or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, so then basically they all take the UA and it's time for the UA entrances. Also, during the 10 minutes of training, because I said that he was gonna inherit 1-4. Yeah, he will inherit 1-4. Also, he's at least used, seeing as he has access to like literally basically what this list is, he's able to like, for example, like class 1A's quirks, he's had to at least use them once. Okay? Or for example, people like Shoto Todoroki or Momo Yaoyorozu or Setsuna or something like that. Okay, like he will use their quirks because those are people who have got his eye within the database, of course. And so he's not all one trick pony. Okay. So yeah, and the training for the entrance exam would be rigorous. Okay. He's using acid sweat, and if we go to acid sweat here, you guys are reading this. Also, he can't forcibly secrete it, because I just forgot that Bakugo can forcibly secrete nitroglycerin sweat. He releases it gradually like sweat. So that in mind, like I'd see him actually just stacking acid sweat and explosion. I actually don't know what Mitsuki's quirk is, but it has something to do with glycerin or something. I think glycerin is separate from nitrous, which keeps her skin smooth. Deku might use that if he was trying to be a beauty, if he was trying to be a model. I don't know, he could fuse it with something. Or he could add glycerin to that to make bigger, more powerful explosions. Okay, and then the 10 months with training begins. Okay, and this would be like a rigorous training. Okay, they'd be creating super moves, new forms. Okay, air would be getting denser. Okay. Oh wait. I for IQ. There we go. That's what I was looking for. IQ. You see? Okay, like IQ quirks. For example, IQ and well, I was looking for something. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. IQ and high specs. Like for example, IQ and high specs can be stacked. Okay, like for example, saying Deku's hero gear, he carries. Like for example, he has a tea bag and a cup. He has a tea bag. Wait, I just realized something. Okay, because I just realized with Deku having all these quirks, he could potentially become like super broken. Listen to me. Okay, this man. Water. Okay, and you put tea bag into water to make tea, right? I think that's how it's worked. I don't really like tea, and I'm not more of a coffee. I don't drink coffee that often, but I have drank coffee before. Okay, but then think about it. If you need to consume tea for IQ, just make water, okay, and have that sea of water go into the tea bag and then drink it. Obviously, it might taste weird since that's water you've just conjured out of thin air, but game is game, and you gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is. Okay, so you can do that. That might be something he discovers, because then that IQ quirks stacks on top of high specs, giving you unparalleled intelligence. Okay, and with that unparalleled intelligence, becomes with certain quirks requiring you to have a high level of IQ to be used. Okay, for example, alchemy and creation. Creation, you need to know what that thing is made of, formula stuff actually, because creation is not a quirk I'd want. Okay, it's way too complicated. Okay, like to me, it's way too complicated if that's what I think. Because to me, creation is that you need to know what that thing is made of. Things can be made from lots of things. Like you could pick up a roll of tissue paper and say, "Oh, this is just like paper," and then there'll be a bunch of different properties you didn't know what was in toilet paper. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to produce toilet paper because, well, you don't know what the other properties are in toilet paper other than paper. Okay, you would think paper is what that is, or you would think it's like wood or something like that. But it's not actually that. There's a bunch of other things. Okay, and then with IQ, memorizing, remembering stuff, recording information. Okay, he'd be good at it. Okay, which is why alchemy and IQ would be good. Okay, and also for sentient quirks, we only have like 2 sentient quirks on this list. So we have Roidy's bird thingy and Dark Shadow. So this Dark Shadow is going to be like, it's basic. so it's the same as Tokuyomi's Dark Shadow. Okay, except that it permanently has red eyes. I can't remember if Tokuyomi's Dark Shadow is a female or not. But I'm just gonna say that his one is female. It contrasts and that's okay. Buddies with me, no, I guess. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now entrance exam. Now so many things I explain. Like 40 minutes into this. Wow. Anyways. Okay, entrance exam. Okay, so entrance exam. He aces the written test. Okay, like that written test is gone. Okay, gone. Okay, that written test is gone. Also, I forgot to mention on the Goba Minnesota beach, I hope I pronounced that right. He meets All Might. Everything happens. All Might saying that Deku is a true hero. Okay, and this and also he basically has every single other quirk of one for all. Like if you go to F right here, like he can already fly. He has float, so like he can just stack that all together. Yeah. Anyways, for the practical exam, okay, he rushes in. Dark Shadow takes a couple of things out. Danger Sense allows him to dodge things, and dark energy, like dark balls of energy, he does that. He decays stuff. He could double himself. He uses dragon, dupli arms. Okay, dupli arms, enhanced strength. Dragon, become a giant dragon, or like get the claw of a dragon and slash stuff. Yeah, okay. Entrance exam, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sorry, I messed up there. Anyways, so and then the 0 pointer arrives. Obviously, seeing Ochako's quirk in action, Deku immediately just starts using the quirk himself. He uses 0 gravity to get the rubble off of Uraraka. Admittedly, he'd be able to do that himself, but he got to just show off. And then using 0 gravity, okay, he literally starts flexing with the goal he only met 5 seconds ago. Like he flexes the quirk that the goal he only met 5 seconds. Okay, like he flexes with that quirk. He uses 0 gravity on the 0 pointer, making it float up into the air. Okay, then he combines Dark Ball, okay, making that giant ball of energy. Think when Go and Ash face Mewtwo, think that the Shadow Ball Mewtwo used in Journeys. Okay, yeah, that's it. Him and Dark Shadow holding it up together. Okay, and here's where something cool comes in. Since they're both birds, the Soul Quirk, which is already sentient quirk, which the missions, and Dark Shadow, so like they try to become like this bird-like thing and like completely destroy the 0 pointer. Like the 0 pointer was cooked from the beginning. Like imagine facing a guy with multiple quirks, but it's not just multiple quirks. He has every single quirk. Like, I'd kind of be jealous too, because you were kind of just using my quirk better than me. So I kind of be jealous, to be honest. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, he gets it, accepts the answer, and then bada bing, bada boom, and he goes into you. And then I'll get everyone meeting and stuff, and then we get Bakugo and Deku meeting address. I'm just gonna say that they didn't meet at the entrance exams, but they meet in class 1A, and the intense stare down they have. Stinging chills. Okay, and also now that Deku has 1 for all, Bakugo kinda has like a slight advantage, kinda not. Because Bakugo's been analyzing All Might. So obviously if Deku has something similar to All Might, considering he has strength, he has a strength enhancement. Obviously, yeah, he has like strength enhancements, cell activation. It might be running what cell activation is gonna do. Side activation can help with a lot of things. For example, if you watched My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the movie 2, you'll see that 9 was after, I forgot his name, but the boy with the cell activation quirk. See why? Because 9, he has 9 quirks. Well, he hasn't filled up that, but he needs cell activation because weather manipulation was so strong that it was damaging his body. So then with cell activation, he could make his body in peak physical condition. Okay, Deku making his body in peak physical condition with cell activation would mean 1-for-all would put on less strain. Strength, he could use strength enhancements plus with the his body being at its max potential. Okay, which means max potential, he'd be getting above average PE scores. So yeah, you see what I'm getting this. Oh, I just realized I'm also going to be doing that with every single new event. Deku's going to be using a new quirk, and as you can see, we have a new quirk here. Oh wait, let me check this, because we have eruption. I've never seen eruption. Okay, My Hero Academia Class Hero Battles. This is a video game. See, there's so many things. Okay, we got quirks from a video game, and I was not expecting that. Burn that fat to produce a lava-like substance that's as hot as magma and ejected from the body. Okay, so that'd be useful. But basically, magma is basically just Momo's quirk. But except what it does is different, but the drawback is the same. They both need to burn fat cells. You get to know. So basically, I think that Deku would basically use endurance and explosion. So he'd use extra arms, or extra arms stacked with dupli arms, endurance and explosion. You see, he'd use explosion because this explosion is far okay. So see, if Bakugo didn't train, okay, but he still got stronger with his explosions get bigger. Deku would have more power in his explosions, okay, because he stacked acid sweat from Masaru and Mitsuki's quirk, which I still don't know, which creates a bigger reaction, therefore bigger and more powerful explosions. Now think that combined into one with all different arms, and you got one big explosion. Dupli arms. Right, let me just calculate something. How many arms does Shoji have? See, he has 6 arms. Okay, 6 arms, and with extra arms, that gives you 2 more arms. So now he has 8 arms. Okay, I do realize that the other 4 of Shoji's arms were in stumps, but I'm just gonna say that are fists for the sake of this. Okay, and then so if you do Deku would get 6,452 on the ball threat test, seeing as he got first in the exams. And everything that happens in canon still happens up until the quirk assessment test, except for either coming to apologize because Deku wasn't really overly doing anything or something like that. Yeah, basically, yeah. And it would be basically and Deku would explain his quirk to get it over with, because he doesn't want to deal with everybody looking and say hey, why do you have multiple quirks, or why can't you do this and I can't. Yeah, so yeah, he explains what his quirk is. Okay, so yeah, 50-meter dash, You guessed it. He uses explosion paired with engine. Side to side step. I'm not sure what you could really use here. Oh yeah, he uses explosions because think about it. So if you use an explosion in your left arm, that's gonna send you to your right. But then if you use an explosion in your right arm, that's gonna send you to your left. And seeing as his explosions are bigger and better because of all the things combined, Deku would need to use endurance. So then doing that side to side steps, yeah, grip strength, multiple arms. Oh wait, let me see this. Okay, so the standing long jump, I actually don't know. Earphone jack, explosion. Endurance test. Endurance and energy saver. Boom. Okay, endurance and energy saver. Because I haven't watched. Again, I'll say that I haven't finished My Hero. But then reading energy saver and seeing what it did, allowing Gigantomachia to only require like 3 hours of sleep and do continuous assault for over 2 days, 48 hours, means that I think Deku would handle the endurance test. And Deku will get first, Bakugo second, Todoroki third, Momo fourth, and then rest is in canon. Yeah, so then use moves from this list, and then okay. Then we move on to Clash Rep. Clash Rep would be Deku at first, but then it's Ito. And then after that we go to the Battle Trials. And seeing that it's another important event, we're switching over to F now. Oh, and we got some good ones here. Look at this. You can use Ashu's quirk, Frost, Foresight. Okay, forced quirk activation seems a bit too much for first year students, so we're not gonna use that. Fly. Basically what Bakugo's quirk is, but it's a flashbang instead of an explosion. Firecrackers, fierce wings, fierce gains. Yeah, do whatever fast fierce gains does. Fast fist. Fast fist, land. What? No. Imagine this, because Deku's not my tank now. Okay, so it's Deku and Bakugo versus. I'm saying that Deku doesn't get that because I want to keep it what Bakugo's quirk awakening is. Like, I'll give Deku cluster, okay? The thing that allows Deku to get explosions all over his body, but I wouldn't give him what I give Bakugo. Because like Bakugo needs something from bro. We can't just have Deku stealing one of his thunder. Bakugo needs something from him. Okay, so for the Battle Trials. Also Deku's hero costume. I never really thought of that. Okay, seeing as Deku's more smarter, you know, he doesn't go with that trash costume. Oh, that thing was ugly to look at, bro. Like Midoriya, it can be an OG suit for you, but bro, that was atrocious. Like, I'd rather see you in your UA uniform than that. Anyways, so he'd use his let's see what he used. Okay, so his hero costume is basically, so it's gonna look like his final hero costume design. Wait, I'm talking about the final hero costume design. So take his hero costume in season 2. when facing overhaul. Think like iron soles, the glove things, like the air gloves. Yeah. Okay. Also, he had like obviously for different mutations. For example, for either has stuff allowing his engines to go through, I think. And even if either's engines are retractable or not, but or if they're just that short. But so basically, so holes for his. Oh, sorry, I got notification. Actually, okay. No, sorry. Oh, let's see. Oh. Yeah, sorry guys, my man, I just wasted time. So basically, okay, so yeah, and holes for his engines. Also, Deku would have horns. They're retractable horns. They can grow out size at will, and yeah, basically look like his original one. And then he'd also have like, when I talk about like his utility belt around him, he would have like at least like 2 tea bags on him. Like, and these tea bags would be like heavily condensed. Okay, it might not taste great, but Deku needs it. Okay, so he'd 2 tea bags mixed with everything, bro. The support department would have a handful of these, bro. Handful of these. Chock full of these. Yeah, anyways. So basically, Deku goes in, like, so it's still the same in the original, and Uraraka runs off with the club. So Bakugo versus Deku. And, no words spoken. Okay? Just straight hands, bro. First of all, they get into hand-to-hand combat. I also forgot to mention that Bakugo has hand-to-hand combat training. So he knows a bit of hand-to-hand, parkour, and boxing. Boxing is main. He gets into a boxing stance, and like he starts jabs, uppercuts, block. So I think I'm describing all the boxing stuff correctly. Like, I've done boxing like multiple times, so I think I'm doing pretty well. Boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like parries. Also, he does a bit of sweeping there and there. Like, boxing and kickboxing is definitely nice. And Deku is also blocking. He's dodging, weaving, slipping, blocking. You know what I'm saying? Also, wait. I just want to see if what Farjin does is what I think Farjin does. Let's see. At first, it's faint. Bakugo notices a red glow around Deku's arms, and he also seems to notice that Bakugo seems to notice that Deku is dodging attacks less frequently. Then he remembers one of them quirks that he looked up, Farjin. How did you guess? Like, I'm telling you, the way it gives man the shocked look on his face when he realizes that Deku is building up kinetic energy. Like, bro would be shocked. Really? So basically, so he goes in to like try and like thrust the kid up. Like, it's a random attack. So like, think a force palm. Like, he tries to go in for a force palm. Okay, he forcibly secretes sweat. Okay, and Deku doesn't notice this, and he thrusts his palm out as a fake out, but he gets the job done. He gets sweat on him. Okay, then he puts his hand behind him and he explodes forward, coming into a punch, explosion powered punch. Deku, anticipating this, then proceeds to release, like, think Wakanda Forever sign. Deku does that and releases the energy. But like, I'm telling you, like 2 milliseconds before this, Bakugo snaps his other finger, snaps it, and boom, explosion, causing the blast Hanu to miss and go somewhere else. Bakugo's like not knowing what going on. So then, oh wait, I forgot. Fat absorption. also like release it back, fat absorption, release it back, and all this, right? Like you will notice that Deku, he's got a lean build, but he's more like a certified beefcake or something. Like I don't know. Think like one of them, like no, he has a Sung Jin-woo build. Okay, he's lean but he's beefy. He's like beefy, bro. He's got like a bit more fat on his like arms. Okay, so maybe mostly there. Okay, that's what I think. Anyways, then that was just the kinetic energy. So the Bakugo leaps back, only to be met with frost. Okay, and then someone's watching the observation. Frost. Bakugo accidentally backing into it, and then Deku coming in with a fat absorption powered punch, and then he gut checks this man. Bakugo is like he spat. Okay, like he coughed up spit. Or coughing up that sweat. He realizes with his enhanced perception, okay, that some of his sweat from his forehead got into the ground. And then he smirks, bro. Okay, when I say like sweat got into the ground, I'm talking about like, because like this man was sweating, bro. Like before he was even forcibly acting sweat, Bakugo made sure that he was moving really fast, like moving. Okay, and then like. Yeah, so he was like just moving around, bro. Like moving around. Yeah, moving around. You know what I'm saying? He was moving around and he was sweating proceedingly more. Then he proceeds to do like more sweat. But Bakugo, being able to control the nitroglycerin sweat, he makes it press against his forehead, making it seem way more shinier than usual. Because Deku's focused on the fight, he doesn't know that. And just to be safe, he puts out like the top part of his forehead. Okay, so like just around his hairline. Okay, just above his hairline. Then when he coughs, he throws down to the ground. Like I'm telling you, like a massive clump. But he disguised that as spit, something like that. Because a massive clump of spat came out as well, which is disgusting. But it is what it is, bro. You're finna see a fair share of disgusting things. So Deku starts flying back. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It starts flying back. Wondering about Bakugo breaks out of the ice. Okay? And then, using his nitroglycerin sweat, okay, he think like hard light projectiles, but it's like a hard nitroglycerin chain, like wall, and Deku backs into it, falling into the same trap. Okay? And then this, as soon as upon impact, okay, it explodes, okay, sending Deku forwards, and then Bakugo gut checks, bro, bam. And Bakugo thinking he's knocked out is about to put capture take around him. But then this is when Deku uses flashbang sweat. Okay? And then using fierce wings, combining fierce wings, flight for the body, and frog. He leaps forward and starts flying at high speeds, going to the top, to where the bomb is located. Once it dissipates, Bakugo knowing that he's going, he just starts like blasting off onto the bomb. And Deku's already got there. He's already sent a bunch of his wings to like gang up on leader, like jump leader, that's my leader. And then also I forgot to mention with fat absorption. Fat absorption. He also has like a bit more beef on his legs. You know what I'm saying? Like mainly around his calves, because like that's where engine is. Like he's not using the engine. Okay, he either is continuously kicking, bro. Bro is either blocking with his arms or his legs. Okay, and right energy starts to come up. Okay, because this is Far Jin combined with One for All. Oh wait, I remember I can't do that. No, let's make an exception. One for All is the only ability that I'll be giving Deku access to when I'm going through these like letter by letter. Okay. So he activates. Wait a minute, I just realized that Fierce gains Fierce wings, but I never looked at Fiber Muscle. Oh! Fiber, and it's like all types of cloth. Using this cloth, he makes him go faster. Okay, either not knowing what this sudden burst of speed came from. Like these lines are so thin, but like so thick. Okay, so they won't break easily when pulling either forward. Okay, and then Deku's continuously blocking. Okay, he's using Fierce gains, Fat Absorption, Fajin, One for All, and like he's tanking these attacks. And then Bakugo gets up there. And you realize Uraraka is like not there at all, bro. Like Uraraka is dipped, bro. And she's going only to find her running to get the bomb. And then this is when Bakugo, embracing the true villainy, realizes that he needs to protect the bomb. Okay, so then he rushes over, and then copying Deku moves, he uses a flash bang. Okay, but it's an actual explosion, but he aims upwards. Okay, upwards, enough to like graze, like kind of like nearly break the ceiling, but it doesn't break everything. Okay, nearly break the ceiling. Okay, cloud and dust everywhere. This is when Bakugo, that shot up on the top, he goes over there and then chops Uraraka on the neck, knocking her out. Okay, so now it's Ida and Bakugo against Deku. This is taking way longer, but trust me. Okay, so then Ida and Bakugo start teaming up, remember. Bakugo realizing that Deku is charging up is like kinetic knockback attack. Realizes that now would be like a good time to devise a plan. So here's what he does. He creates nitroglycerin, like he spreads nitroglycerin on the floor. And like so think if we're in a room, okay, there's a line at the top, a line at the side, a line at the bottom, then a line at another side. Okay, you see where I'm getting this, okay? And then you also get like, so it looks like, I don't know how to describe it because I'm, okay, think like pentagon, octagon, nanogon, like what, any of the gons, think one of them. Okay, any of the gons, just think one of them. And yeah, when Deku finally releases his blast, Bakugo makes a nitroglycerin sweat wall. Yo, but it is what it is. Nitroglycerin sweat wall. Okay. He makes a nitroglycerin sweat wall, and then when Deku hits it, it explodes upon impacts. Okay, so it explodes upon impact, and then sending Deku back, and then trapping him. And then they won the exercise. And you're like, you guys are probably like, what? Deku won the exercise? Nah, man. I mean, Bakugo won the exercise. Yeah, and I wanted Bakugo to win the exercise because it would show how far he's come as a person. And he's not cocky and egotistical, okay? He gets straight down to business, okay? He stands on business and he proves that he can hang with the best of the best, okay? And he's now got the battle power and prowess to back it up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's nice. So yeah, and then without over all the other events can take place, and then yeah, and then there's the events of the USJ. Yeah, so now we're going to the events of the USJ. So Aizawa gives out permission slips, and then Deku, okay, wait, yeah, we're going to G. I remember Deku can use um, 1-4. Okay, and I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with every single quirk. Okay, like I know what glycerin is now. Good eel, you can probably tell. There's grasshopper, I have a good idea. Gecko, maybe. I know what gear shift is. Gatling, Gale, maybe. But gigantic spinning flying turtle. I'm sorry, but y'all, every time I move into a new one, because I don't know every quirk, I'm gonna have to look at it, and you guys are gonna see me casually scrolling. Okay, but please bear with me, because we are having names like gigantic spinning flying turtle. Okay, if you told somebody that was the name of your quirk, they would either think you're talking about a sentient quirk, or something, or something that he can magically whip out, because that's just confusing. Oh, okay, so let's go through Gale. Okay, so the Gale was basically the wind devil fruit of the MHAverse. Like, think about it. The user is wind, okay, which I think is a Logia type devil fruit. Forgive me, I barely know anything about One Piece. Like, you guys cannot comment to the comments, please, and start asking me about One Piece, because I barely know anything. Okay, I'll be frank with you guys. I'm on episode 33. Okay, I only recently got into it. Anyways, gas. So it can make anyone who inhales it fall asleep until the toxin is treated. Oh wait, let me look at Gatling. Okay. Okay, USJ. Okay, let's go. In the USJ. Okay, and Asu, I don't know if Asu is gonna ask a question. Like, Sue's gonna ask a question or not. Wait, no, she will ask a question. Make things interesting, okay? So, Midoriya, have you used all of our quirks before? And then Deku replies with, yeah, at least once, by accident maybe, or something like that. And I'm not good with voice impressions and dialogues. I feel like Zeta is good at doing that stuff, not me. Yeah, so, yeah. And then get to the USG. Good ear. Now, this is what I'm talking about, girl. Good ear. Oh. So good. Here, I'm just gonna say that with high frequency ranges, they also have a way better ear. Like, better so they can pick up enemy sounds. Which I think would stack on top of earphone jack. But I digress. So, yeah, and Deku would hear, like, everything that's going on in there. And then he tell Aizawa about this. And then Aizawa, 13, and Deku would be the one to go in there. Because, I mean, Deku has every single quirk. Okay? And even though I'm limiting him to 1-4-0 and, like, all of these, just think about it. I think 3 quirks. Okay? 3 quirks. 1-4-0, Gear Shift, and Gale. Or even Gigantification. Heck, Gigantic Spinning Flying Turtle. Or Glide and Slide would be good enough. Also, Glycerin wouldn't be taken into effect here. Seeing as we've already passed the explosion itself, Glycerin and Acid Sweat, Glycerin will be counted as explosion now. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, they burst in and then they see the League of Villains. Whoop in. Yeah, Yue, and then I ask, wasn't All Might supposed to be new? Anyways, and then they start like realizing that the students aren't there, and there's only like 3 teachers, bro. So then Kirigiri warps in, trying to like, I don't know, injure 13. But Deku, let me confirm my theory. I have a theory. What do white holes do? Okay, so they expel something. Okay, they repel something. Okay, think about I don't know. I'm not that familiar with JJK as well, but think one of Gojo's cuss techniques. I can't remember if it's lapse blue or reversal red. Okay, like the names would be better if you did like repel and attract or something. But I digress. So yeah, he basically used the reverse of. Never mind, because I completely forgot, bro. Never mind, but you know what? To give it some finesse, I'm gonna say he uses erasure and black hole as well. Okay. And then yeah, so when Kirigiri tries to warp them away, when Kirigiri tries to come upon them, he repels. Okay, he releases repel force, repelling Kirigiri away. And then Shigaraki commands all the thugs and gangsters they've gathered up to like basically rush everybody. Rush 13, Aizawa and Deku. So and they start getting to work, bro. Deku uses glamour to create illusions, bro. Okay, so illusions like oh wait. So like illusions. He creates illusions. Like okay, like for example, like because it said in the text that that Kami like you know that guy with the manga quirk, right? Yeah, she takes inspiration from there. That's what Deku does. Okay, he uses glamour and creates like imagine like our entire boulder dropping onto you. Just realize it was fake, and then boom, Deku hits you with a repellent force. Seeing as 13 isn't really like combat oriented, because think about it, if 13 just tried to use a black hole cock, be really yourself. Unless you stop her, like she's catching her body on everybody, bro. Like I could be like she could like you're lucky she's not a villain, guys, bro. Like that's you're basically having a walking talking black hole. But I digress. So she'll be asked to stand guard and protect the students, and also yeah, he does told to go and get back up. So after defeating the villains using erasure and yeah, gigantification, like slide and glide. Yeah, wait, grasshopper. You've got to be kidding me, bro. Why is like everything that I find interesting, like good quirks, now y'all are on trigger, bro? Crazy thing is because I've barely read the MHA Vigilantes manga, so like yeah. So yeah, so then yeah, and then the Nomi is taken up. So Nomi is a hold kicking creature of a beast, bro. Deku, I'm gonna say that you see this quirk right here, all for one. Yeah, you see that? basically what happens is that all for one has like, because I've seen in many fan fictions and I don't know if this is true or not, but it's like a string pull, like where like you can feel strings of like a quirk, basically pulling them. Yeah, you see, Deku feels that too coming from the Numi, and tells Aizawa to be careful. And then together they both erase it. Okay, so it's a double erasure effect. Okay, like this takes out the Numi's. I don't know what the Numi has, but this barely has any effect on the Numi. Like the Numi's no, so it stops the Numi's super strength, but Numi was still really big. So yeah. Anyways, so realizing that this isn't working, Deku tells Aizawa to get back, okay, and then he tells 13 to start using her black hole quirk, to to basically like use her black hole quirk to use her black hole quirk to suck the limit in, and then Deku then proceeds to use gear shift with glide and slide to move so fast, and then he uses that on 13, so increasing her speed, and then Deku uses that speed, and then like he crashes the limit into 13's black hole, which reduces the limit to atoms. And then obviously like the cleanup happens, and also Kirigiri and Shigaraki still escape, so yeah. Okay, so now we're going to the UA Sports Festival, and the UA Sports Festival, UA Sports Festival. Oh yeah, we're going to another event, so let me just change that. Okay. I don't know. Let me just go through some of them. Okay, so okay. So UA Sports Festival. Okay, let's get into it. So UA Sports Festival. Deck. Okay. So Todoroki still declares war, and then they all start like going out. Deku gives a speech. Yeah, and then we get into the obstacle race. So in the obstacle race, Deku uses half hot, half cold and counters Todoroki. He uses Todoroki's ice against him. So like basically, he absorbs the ice and then spreads it back out again, freezing Todoroki in the process as well. So then after that, like he starts using one for all and running off. And then with the okay, so then with okay, so with heavy payload and helical scythe paired with hardening and steel, he dispatches the hero pointers, the 0 pointers, and then he continues going forward using one for all. And then I'd say yeah, eventually he wins the race. Calvary Route I'm gonna skip, but everyone who wins in the original wins. And then he also takes notice of Shinzo's team. So when he faces off against Shinzo, he doesn't respond to him because he's using high specs and he's obviously noticed and figured out that Shinzo's quirk is a speech based quirk, so he doesn't speak back, and then this causes Shinzo to be knocked out. Then everything goes the same up until his fight against Todoroki. So I see this going two ways. Either they come at a stalemate with half cold, half hot, or Deku uses his fire and ice side, or he just uses Hell Flame. But either way, Todoroki is still gonna get provoked to use his fire, and Deku wins them. Okay, so now it's Bakugo versus Deku, and now this is gonna go differently. Because like last time Bakugo won, so this time Deku's gonna be trying even harder. Okay. So it begins and Deku uses 1-4 and then bunches Bakugo, but then Bakugo is steadying himself with his explosions, rocket swords, then punches Deku, like gives him an explosion powered uppercut. But then Deku uses heavy payload, which increases the damage output of his attacks, and then covers his fist in ice and then uppercuts Bakugo back. Okay, and they both get sent flying. And they go at it out for a while. So Deku using hardening and blocking Bakugo's explosions. And he also uses steel. And I think steel would be able to relatively keep up with the explosions. Because during the joint training exercise in Season 5, Tetsu was able to hold his aim against Todoroki using his fire. And I'm pretty sure Todoroki used Flash Fire Fist. So I think he'd be able to hold his own against Tetsu, hold his own against Bakugo. Okay, so then Bakugo using Howitzer Impact. Okay. And then he uses Howitzer Impact, but this isn't like an enhanced different version. You see, because then he forces sweat into a big, huge bubble in front of him. Okay, and Deku's he's charging up 1-4. He's charging up 1-4, and then he charges up 1-4, and uses let's see what he should use. He uses half, and then he hardens, and then sets up a defense with hard flame fan. And because right. Oh. And then he also uses Hydra to come in and also add a layer of defense. But that still doesn't work because then Bakugo forces the nitroglycerin to explode and he sends one arm forward and then he takes that explosion, rockets forward and in a spinning motion, for flame wheel, he then it's towards Deku. Okay, but on the next to Deku, he sends out two short daggers or something made of nitroglycerin. Sends out behind him, and Deku, the Hydra gets taken down. Hard flame fan gets taken down. Hardening gets taken down, and then this is when Deku comes in with a full power smash. Okay, and this smash is enhanced by what can you enhance it by? Enhanced it by gear shift. enhanced it by gear shift. Sorry, there's some background noise. And you see he enhances it by gear shift. And it sends it forward really fast. Sorry, background noise. Anyways, so then he rockets forward. Sorry, my voice is getting a bit quieter. I don't know. I just don't want to be like super loud. So here, Bakugo continues rocket forward. Then Deku launches a full powered smash, paired with gear shift to go faster. But then just behind him, he feels what was it? He feels like an explosion charging up behind him. Then he looks backwards while still charging up his smash, and then he sees the dagger explosions. So then with homing, and hula hoop, he blocks the attack and hits Bakugo with a full powered explosion, knocking him out, making Deku the winner of this sports festival. Now with the sports festival over, moving to the internships. Yes, internships. Okay. So yeah, we move on to the internships. Okay, so then for the internships, okay, so I'd say that he should go with Gran Torino, because I mean he still has 1 for 1 in this. So yeah, I see he go with Gran Torino. Oh, sorry guys, just feeling a bit tired. Yeah, he goes with Gran Torino. Okay, so with Gran Torino, yeah, so then everything stays the same up until the fight listing. The fight listing, I'd say this relatively goes easy actually. I mean, let's get the clocks. Thank you. So you could actually pair icy ply with frost. Okay, and then you get that. And I think that's okay. And then you also got impact recoil. Which reverse impact. So anything that gets stained tries to throw at him. Then also you got these iron claw, and also IQ paired with high specs. So I think that could beat Stain relatively easily. Yeah, using those he beats Stain relatively easily. Okay, so with that out of the way, we get into the I'm not gonna cover the movies actually. But so with this out of the way he covers, so then we get to final exams. With the final exams, final exams. Okay, and I think that it would still get paired against All Might. Yeah, getting paired against All Might would be okay. I think that we gets paired against All Might with Bakugan. Since this is not when we go to the J clock. Jet. Okay, so we're gonna skip over J. Looks like J. Okay, let's look at this. Kaiju. Massive dinosaur like beast. Okay, so using, I think you'd be able to beat Oma. Okay, so kinetic booster creates and releases. I think, because I think I'll allow him to use other quirks as well that I can think of. So with fat absorption, yes, fat absorption, kinetic booster, King Slam and Kaiju, or paired with his IQ and height specs. Also with like Bakugo being more cooperative, like I think he could take out Omae. I mean, think about it. Kinetic boosters are quite used by All For One, and obviously this was having All Might use his ultimate move, United States of Smash. So yeah, and then Kaiju. Kaiju. I think yeah, and then I'm heard all about like imagine like if paired with fat absorption, because wait, I think about it. If Deku turns into a Kaiju, okay, which means he obviously would have more fat. Okay, paired with fat absorption. Okay, wait, can you guys hear me? Okay, paired with fat absorption, okay, he can absorb the kinetic energy. He creates kinetic energy. More of it gets released. Paired with King Slam, he could transfer that kinetic energy. And he still has a hammer with that, and then like swings it at All Might. And Bakugo could like sneak attack All Might or get an explosion off behind him or in front of him. And I can see Bakugo's explosions are way more like bigger and better. So yeah. Okay, yeah, and I think yeah they'd beat All Might. Okay, so then we go to the forest training camp. Okay. Okay. Lion, life of sleep. Precipitation. Wait, larceny. Ornament. Yeah, so for the forest training camp, beating the earth beast, yeah, that'd be relatively easy. And then like for the Vanguard arc, and also for Deku's training, I can see him training with all of the quirks we've just used. So from A to L, yeah, he trains with all of those. Like, I can see him like creating new techniques. For example, working with people whose quirks he's actually had. For example, attraction of small objects. Anyways, working with Amplival, culinary acid explosions paired with acid sweat and glycerin to make it more powerful. And yeah, and I think like yeah, it can be training relatively well with everyone. Like black whip, blazing hair, blood control, and blood control. And also, like I just realized like yeah, so all of these things can like yeah. Like think blue flame paired with all the other fire quirks we just used. Yeah. Okay, so if I go options, so when he protects Koga, I can see him using like multiple of weird quirks. For example, like I'm just want to see how lockdown works to see if I can use that. Yeah, lock objects down. Yeah, so I think, okay, paired with Lizard Tail Slitter, he could, which is Saxon's quirk from 1B, he could dodge attacks and then like throw rocks into the air. Like, he won't do this. He would throw rocks into the air and lock them down. And then with long bow, and then with Black Whip, he could swing towards and have them locked down into like one like giant shape. And then with Black Whip, he could swing into the air, use all one for all, paired with a long bow, and then since he has like a projectile to shoot, he can like shoot like all the rocks at long bow. He could like shoot that at Muscular, and then like yeah, Muscular would be taken down. And then same everything happens in canon, and then we go to the sorry, excuse me. Then we go to the Camino Water because everything still happens in canon. So then Deku arrives on the scene. Seeing All Might struggling against struggling against All for One. While struggling against All for One, so then Deku arrives onto scene. And I can see Deku staring down All for One, and All for One saying, because I'm not sure how many quirks All for One has. But wait, let me search that up actually. How many quirks does All for One have? At least 50 different quirks. 18 named, 18 more unnamed. So at least 50. It's estimated Dia at least has 50. Okay, and if he at least has 50, and if Deku has every quirk on this list, it means he has 340. Okay, All for One surely want to steal all of those quirks for him. Okay, but Deku, he's not gonna allow that. Okay, like he's not gonna allow that. Okay, so then he runs. So, background family. So then he starts fighting with All Might. And when he gets close enough, okay, actually, he could use, Manifest. That is such a huge help. Okay, with Manifest, okay, Manifest. Okay. Actually, I don't think he can use anything with Manifest. Sorry, background music again. Monster something. So let's just say he used a bunch of different quirks, and he have an air cannon battle with All for One, and then with All Might he could use he could use Black Whip to bring him close, and then have All Might hit him with a United States of Smash. Okay, but like bringing Bro down. Okay, and then I can still see him, Deku using All for One, like using All for One himself. I can see him extracting All for One and All for One's All for One, and then all the other quirks he has. Okay, stacking on top of his quirks that he has, making them more powerful. Okay, and then Shakuraki like tries to escape with Kyogiri and the rest of them, but they're quickly apprehended. Oh, you know, I want a happy ending with the villains. Okay, so I'm not too sure about Twice and Mr. Compress. But everyone else I know. So Sorry guys, I'm kind of a bit distracted because I just discovered that I was bleeding right now. So yeah, better sidetracked. Sorry, not major bleeding. But anyways, so I'm on the very side of the happy end. And as far as I know, I've never seen a memory quirk. Oh wait, no. He has Sukachi's lie detecting quirk. Just crazy seeing as I'm not seeing it here. Or maybe it's not called though. But anyways, lie detector quirk, he could interrogate the Vanguard action squad. And also, I'm not too sure about Magna or Spin. Sorry, the recording might cut, so yeah. So anyways, with Magna and Spinner, like, yeah, I'm not sure about the yes, I'm not sure about Magna and Spinner, but using Sukachi's lie detecting quirk, yeah, I think he could like interrogate them, and then I think they would be up for like, because I think a villain rehab would be nice, like rehabilitation. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. Yeah, I think that'd be okay. So yeah, and then ultimately, yeah, they go through maybe a villain rehab process, i.e. Anyways, so after this we get the provisional licenses exam. I just feel like I'm not gonna actually waste anything on this because like we can just skip over that and let's get into the overhaul arc. So with the overhaul arc, yeah. So while on patrol, this is unfortunate. You don't get to use every single quirk. So for the overhaul arc, Night Eye, he still does the stamp test to see if Deku was a worthy successor. I mean, I think Deku would be a worthy successor, but it's like, think about it. So like, what, nullify his quirk if he's able to touch him? And even if he's not able to touch him, he could just say, use new order to say, you move and you break a limb. Like, look. Okay, so. Yeah. Set a rule. I'm calling out on him. See? New order. Oh, so yeah, I think that'd be okay. And then, while on patrol, he meets Eri. And then, yeah. And then Eri, like, yeah, the same stuff still happens. Now, because I'm not sure if Deku would hesitate. I mean, with all of this at his disposal, I don't think he would hesitate. But to make the fight a bit more interesting, I'm gonna say that some Yakuza members were there with him, Overhaul. And then this is gonna have to, and because Overhaul like takes all of that, like fuses with all of them, then there's a big fight, huge fight out onto the streets. Okay, so then Overhaul with like all of their quotes. I'm not sure. Let me check something. Overhaul final form. Okay, throw background. So to make it more interesting, I think that with like all of this here. So I think that with, and then realizing that Overhaul realizing, okay, so we'll continue the tree. Now Overhaul realizing that he couldn't really beat Deku, he then proceeds to merge, like like before anyone can say anything, he disassembles and reassembles himself to fuse with Nemoto, Katsukame, Rappa, Setsuno, Hojo, Tabe, Sakai, and Tengai, which means he can increase his physical strength, manipulate stone, move through walls, manipulate light, create sonic waves, manipulate the wind, create illusions, manipulate metal, which is kind of busted. But then there's also that guy with the barrier quirk, so I'm also going to be adding that. And Deku with that, I think Deku would have a tough fight. But I mean, realistically, the way I can see this going is that Deku uses the quirk Overhaul himself. He could just defeat... I'm going to say that he doesn't have access to 100%. I'm going to say he has access to like 50%. And he could use Rewind himself, or go like beyond 100%. Because like, he could stack One for All and other strength enhancement quirks. For example, I could have sworn that Death Arms had a minor strength enhancement quirk. So yeah, he could use like, see like here, physical enhancement, power stocked. Like yeah, he could use that, or use Pop Off to trap Rip, because I think he's fairly smart enough to do that. Yeah, so like he has a vast array of quirks. Like, let's see. Try and see. Oh, I don't think there are any quirks that start with Y. So X, Y, no quirks start with X or Y. Like, I could see him winning with a vast array of these quirks. Like all of these. Like with all of these, I just like there's no way that Overhaul isn't winning. Deku could rewind, albeit probably with Eri. He could rewind Overhaul into atoms. You beat him using One for All, paired with Eri's rewind and stacked with other minor strength enhancements. But to make this more interesting, I'd say that he uses One for All. Yeah, I say that he uses One for All with all the quirks. Okay, so it goes like this. So the fight starts off as the Deku starts powering up to 100% of One for All. Okay, he starts powering up to 100%, and then he proceeds to stack strength enhancement of the strength enhancement. Okay, so he uses physical enhancement, like anything really, power stockpiling, and then he realizes that his body not be able to handle all that power, because he uses rewind, but he realized that his bones are still like he's still getting damaged a bit. So then he pairs that with Ares rewind, and then they start fighting Overhaul. Now with Overhaul, he can move through walls. Okay, so he could also increase his own physical strength Overhaul. So he can manipulate stone. So Deku goes in for a punch, he could block it with stone. Sonic waves, wind, illusions, and manipulate metal. Like, seeing as Deku doesn't know any of these quirks, like, he knows what, like, he'll be able to find out, like, what the quirk does, but he doesn't know how many quirks Overhaul has now, like, gotten. Yeah, so, but all in all, I still see Deku winning, because even with him being able to move through walls, okay, or manipulate metal, like, I just don't realistically seeing him, like, losing, because, like, his, sonic waves, light, wind, try and hit him with metal or with stone, physical strength, he could just block that with air. And then he could use like air cannon and launch Overhaul into the air. And then I could see him using Gear Shift Overdrive. Or Deku becomes enraged. And this would be interesting because if Deku becomes enraged, he could just start blasting out quirks left and right. Okay? He could. Okay, so he could just combine a bunch of quirks, use explosions of left and right, melt him, hit him with an air cannon, block attacks with air wall, use arbor and swing him around, continuously pelting him with small objects, block stuff with barrier, reduce part of him to atoms with black hole, burn him with blue flame, control him, bullet laser. Like, there's so many quirks here and so many options to choose from. But all in all, just know that Deku would win. Okay, and I think that's it. Yeah. So I know I just went on a yapping rant about how many ways, but just know this, that Deku would win against Overhaul. And yeah, that's it. And it takes care of Eri, becomes a pro hero. Like, I don't feel like incorporating movies into this. So yeah, and all in all, I think, yeah, that's it. And I'm just realizing that this takes like way longer than it should have, because I spent half the time yapping. But anyways, yeah, and that's it. So, but before I sign out, actually, I also want to ask that for you guys down in the comment section, I want you to ask for, like, suggest ideas for a what if. So I'm currently looking into My Hero what ifs and Demon Slayer what ifs, and I'll actually tell you a few that I've thought of. Okay, so I've thought of what if Deku. I'm planning to do a what if Deku had access to every single poison type move. I got inspired from this. I thought about this from when I saw I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen that King Crisis, if you know that guy, has recently uploaded a video about what if Deku had an acid quirk. Also, there's what if Deku was. I'm also planning to do a what if Deku was speed in more ways than one. Okay, I won't spoil that too much. Demon Slayer what ifs. There's Demon Slayer what ifs. There's what if Tanjiro had Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. No, not Ultra Ego as well, but I meant to say what if Tanjiro had Ultra Instinct and Nezuko had Ultra Ego. This seems like a quite interesting story. So, yeah. And then also what else? Oh yeah, there was also what if Deku had Explosion, because I tried searching it up once and I didn't see anyone with it. And if he did end up getting the quirk Explosion, it was usually a means from stealing or copying it. So, like, yeah. And with that out of the way, it's your boys the Anime X signing out. See you next video.